Loading Snacks.
What's good, Loading Snacks Universe? Your boy Jokes is here. I got the homie Marcus, and we're about to jump in because you know what? It is time for another episode of the Finisher Podcast.
Finisher. Hey.
Oh, man. Wrestling. We are here to talk about all things wrestling. And you know what? It never stops. There's always something going on in the world of wrestling, and we are here to continue the conversation on it. Marcus, how are we feeling tonight, good sir?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. You know, countdown to Survivor Series, countdown to John Cena's final appearance. Like, already almost in December, bruh.
Yep. Those final appearances are on the horizon, and we are almost to the end. Before we start getting into things, you know, we gotta get a couple things out the way. First things first, y'all, loadingsnacks.com. It's the place to go and to keep up with all of the Loading Snacks antics, to be able to keep up with weekly. Obviously, you're here listening to wrestling now, but things are going to be over there as well, too. Conventions and things that we got coming up, that's the best place for you to go. Links to YouTube and everything are going to be there as well, too. So you'll be able to find everything that you could possibly want to find Loading Snacks oriented for work. I think it's time we go ahead and jump in and we just start talking about some wrestling that's been going on. Obviously, Marcus, you brought up Survivor Series. We're definitely going to be talking a little bit about Survivor Series. Not necessarily about the current Survivor Series match or anything like that, but I want to talk a little bit about some of our favorite / best matches of Survivor Series past. You know, we talked a little bit about how we don't think the Survivor Series, it doesn't have that same element and vibe. And so I think this is a perfect time for us to go back, talk a little bit about that as we transition our way into Survivor Series. But before we get to that, a little bit of news, kind of just a regular topic as well, too. But I want to talk about the AEW National Championship. We haven't dove a lot into AEW in the last few episodes, but I think this is something that we got to jump in. We got to talk a little bit about. Now, for those that haven't been keeping up with AEW, Tony Khan has introduced a new championship into the mix of things, the National Championship. So, if you are familiar with NWA, the National Championship name and title is definitely something that is not new in any shape or form. So when Tony Khan first announced this, it caught me off guard a little bit because it's not like the National Championship is not still a thing currently in NWA right now. So I could understand if at one point, like the title decades ago was deactivated at one point and then they brought it back some odd years later. I can understand if the championship was still dormant and we brought this back. But now we're introducing it almost to make a second variation / version of the same belt. I don't have an image to throw up. I may edit it in a little bit later, but Marcus, have you seen the design of it?
Because Ricochet won the championship.
Ricochet is currently. Hey, listen, we're gonna talk about that. There's a part of me that's really happy that my man won the championship.
I was like, screw the Speed Championship.
But if you look at the appearance of it, color scheme wise and everything, it looks like still like a traditional NWA style belt, very old school. The eagle, like it just gives you those old school vibes. So by all means, nothing against the way it looks. I think it looks great, but it is the fact that we are like, I don't want to say copying, but we're doing the same thing. Now, normally every wrestling organization has its world heavyweight or whatever their main belt that they call it for it. And then they'll have, TV title, some other name, the Intercontinental, United States, whatever you want to call those mid-title belts. So it is considered to be a mid uh, championship within AEW. One thing I will call out, Tony Khan did say it is considered to be what's called a traveling belt. So similar to how the international title works, it's been designed to not only be defended in AEW, but partner promotions, Ring of Honor, New Japan Strong, and I'm sure probably some other organizations that it can be featured in. But I don't know. It's a little weird that we went straight for the national championship. But we already have one, obviously international, that's being defended. But I think in being able to go to different promotions and defend it, it's a cool thing. But I'm not sure if it's been received as well, obviously, because of being the national championship. How do you feel overall about the national championship within AEW?
If they could call it something else, I think it would do better. But
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of those names are already trademarked by other organizations. Like you can't call it like United States Championship. Like that's copyrighted. And you can't call it like the television championship or whatever division championship.
Mm-hmm.
So like if they had a better name for it, it will probably do like way better.
I think they can.
They may rebrand the name. They're just like testing the waters, like, okay, let's see how this flies on
Yeah.
TV for a little bit. And then they may just like change the name, but keep the title the same.
To do. Like, I think they can get away because it's national championship, and I believe with NWA, it is National Heavyweight Championship. So it's technically a different variation of the name. Because like I'm gonna be very, very honest. Like I have not been as involved with NWA in a while now. I've been chiming in because there have been some familiar faces that have shown up. It's gotten me to put eyes back on the product, but I haven't been truly in depth. Like I know some of the thing came out like I think it was like 1980. I think is when like the whole entire thing started. There's been a ridiculous and insane amount of people from 1980s up until now that have had that championship. And my first thought was when he introduced it, I honestly thought the one in NWA wasn't. I didn't think it was actually a thing, so I had to go look that up and found out that it was just recently been. I don't know if reestablished is the word, but I know someone picked up the championship as of recent. So because I was like, oh, Tony Khan is introducing this, is probably keeping the lineage and all this type of stuff. I was like, okay, cool. This sounds like a dope partnership with NWA that's probably presenting itself. But clearly, that's not a thing. We have seen that some of the wrestlers from NWA have been very vocal about being the true national championship lies within NWA. To a certain extent, I'll agree with that just because NWA has made the national championship the biggest staple. It's been a part of other promotions that have always, been affiliated to NWA, like, developmental type of things when we had a lot of the territory type things going on in years past. So that belt did move around a lot. It was renamed a few times in the mix before it became the national championship once again. But I'm eager to know where Tony's thoughts are with it. Like, I don't think he means to step on toes. And sometimes I'm like, Tony had this idea and just threw it out there and was like, let's see if it sticks. But I don't know. But now we're starting to get back to a thing that we talked about early days of the podcast. We're getting overrun with championships in AEW. I was happy when we start introducing, some more women's championships to kind of balance things out. Cool. I don't want to have like every single person being a champion. Like, I don't know. I think it's great that it will be able to be moved amongst the different promotions, to bring different faces in, collaborations. I think that's going to work very well. I think the International Championship has done that a little bit. Putting it on Okada. Initially, Okada wasn't signed to AEW, so it was kind of cool having at the time, honestly, New Japan's biggest star that they had to offer over on U.S. soil with technically a U.S. championship. But then, of course, he ended up signing with AEW, so now he's a thing here now. But clearly, those ties to New Japan are gonna be there forever for him. So right now, I'm a little indecisive on where I am right now with the national championship.
I think it should be like, even though he says it's like a traveling championship, I feel like its home will probably be mostly on Collision. There's no real outside of like the trios championship, like Collision has nothing.
Yeah, Collision still hasn't, like, they just have some random stuff. Like, I still feel like hasn't fully evolved or moved.
It's still like, it's like what's it like, Velocity and Heat? Like it's still feels like that, like those type of like a show. Even though we know, like, okay, it's their B show, but since we know that it's literally recorded, spoilers, if you don't know, if you've been living underneath a rock, right after the main show. It's literally recorded. Like if you're in attendance, they literally was like, okay, stand by as we get things ready for Collision. We're about to record Collision.
Now they have been, as a reason, I think there have been more standalone collisions. Like I do know they're about to have almost like a residency for Collision in, I believe it's Texas. It's at least for like a whole month. It's going to reside in a Texas location for the whole entire month, which I thought was kind of interesting. Like not traveling, it's just going to stay put for 4 weeks consistently. And I'm wondering if that's kind of like an experiment type of thing, like how at one point NXT, was at Full Sail and that was just where it resided, it lived. I wonder if they're looking for something like that for Collision. Being that it was originally supposed to be, built around CM Punk, but clearly that's not a thing anymore. There still have been pieces of the puzzle that they've been putting in place. Obviously, the House of Black was also a piece of that. Malachi, of course, reverted back to Alistair and went to the WWE. So now, we got the Hounds of Hell. We actually, I feel like we haven't seen them as of recent. I haven't been in touch with AEW. Like I'm waiting for that thing to really get me pulled back in to AEW. I honestly forgot.
Full Gear was really good.
I honestly forgot about Full Gear, and by all means, there was definitely some decent matches that were on the card for Full Gear. Ricochet obviously winning the championship. Kenny and the Bucks reunited. Like I don't want to get too deep into that. There were some good things that happened on there for it.
I mean, Joe
is champion once again.
On his final tour within the pro wrestling circuit.
So we'll see how those things play out. But I'm intrigued to see how they move and work with the national championship. And I wonder if somehow, like, I feel like this could be one of those things where maybe AEW and NWA do have some form of an agreement. It's hard to say that they do. Seeing how WWE has had like Natalya and a couple others go over and compete as of these last few months. Now, obviously, I'm pretty sure those were just really considered to be one-offs than anything. So maybe there was nothing truly established. But if AEW could formulate that type of agreement where maybe we get to a point where, let's say, the national championship is around for like a year with AEW, but we decide that we want to combine the lineage and make, like the undisputed national champion or something like that. then I could see it the bigger scheme of what maybe we're working with for it.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
right
'cause
now, yeah.
the international championship, they literally unified
Hmm.
their the other belt to the international. So to the unified or undisputed, whatever championship or
Hmm.
whatever.
Yeah. So if there's a bigger play in mind, then I like to see where it leads to. Because if you're able to combine the lineage of certain belts together, like obviously NWA's version is is gold. This brand new AEW version right now is like copper. it's it just doesn't hold that same value, at least as of yet. Now, it's going to take time, obviously, to even come anywhere close to that of a lineage, as long as something that's been in NWA for decades on decades. So I'm eager to see if maybe that's where the play is at. I want to hear Tony's, like, he really just gave us the speech about introducing championship, but I'm eager to hear more about the thought process of where the idea and that foundation came from for introducing this in its form, other than just, I don't want to say rip off, but just using a title that has a very good prestige behind it, for maybe those that are like the casual watchers that don't necessarily know that it's still a thing in NWA, will be like, oh, I've heard of that championship. It has great history. Now Tony Khan is bringing it back. I'm eager to see how that type of stuff plays out. Because right now, Ricochet having the championship, I want to see how it plays out. I think Ricochet is good. By all means, he's not world championship tier just yet. There's still potential that we can get him to that point. But him now having a championship and being able to take him and put him in different promotions and be himself could be a good ploy. And then on the same time, he may not have that championship that long. Depending on who the next setup is, he could just be the stepping stone, like, hey, got the belt on you, and it's going to be given to somebody else. So we just got to see how things play out with that. I don't think we have a next in line or anything like that. I don't know if there's going to be, tournaments or anything for it. Like the the ranking system thing is out the window now. I don't know if that's going to come back. We were trying to build ways to make it make sense on who would be the next challenger for it, but right now we're going to be trying to figure that whole entire thing out. So this has me kind of wanting to tune in a little bit just to see how we can build this and if it's going to be worth time doing the investment into it. But AEW National Championship, it's a thing. We'll keep our eyes on it. Let us know how you feel about it. But now I want to shift gears a little bit. Survivor Series is this weekend. By all means, the people on the card, like there's some big superstars on the card. But I don't get Survivor Series vibes and feels. Like it just doesn't feel like it's weighted the same way. So I thought this would be a good time to kind of go back and revisit some of our favorite moments, some good times within the Survivor Series history. Kind of give some thoughts on how we feel. So Marcus, I'm gonna let you start. Like, just let's just start with one for now. Give me, it could be a match, it could be an overall Survivor Series pay-per-view. However you want to frame it, I'm good with it. Um, what do you have for Survivor Series pass?
Well, I mean, my opinion, probably one of the greatest Survivor Series is the Team WWE versus the Alliance.
I think we're
That's
gonna
like,
have some similarities too. So
like I
I'm
feel
just
like,
putting it out there.
I'm gonna get the obvious ones like out the way. So definitely that one, especially when you go towards the end where they this is I believe personally is where the whole chaining of finishers and to like speed things up happened. Like I really feel like that's where it like became mainstream. Like yes, I know like there could be other instances, but like I feel like in like the 5 second interval of like all right, chain supers, everyone chain supers, like just your finishers, just chain them. Like, I feel like that really set the tone, and
Mhm.
it really you felt something like you felt like oh if they lose WWE is gone. Like you like there were actual stakes like in
Mhm.
stipulations that were in play. Like it felt
Yeah,
like it mattered. Like the match
it
mattered.
100%
Everything
did.
on the card mattered.
100%. Just to give y'all, for those maybe that aren't too familiar with it, so Team WWF at the time, but we'll say WWE. It was the team of The Rock, Chris Jericho, The Undertaker, Kane, and Big Show, and the alliance being led by Stone Cold, Kurt Angle, Rob Van Dam, Booker T, and Shane McMahon. So both teams stacked, like incredibly stacked. It's funny, we do have some old WCW folk on the WWE side. Um, Obviously, the WWE still exists, which means they won that match.
Obviously,
um,
those of you who aren't picking up what we putting down.
um, and it was thanks to Kurt Angle, who ended up turning on the alliance and helping out with that victory. It was, it's
I mean, but at the same time, it could have went either way because Jericho betrayed
Jericho did portray too.
WWF. So it was a double turn at the same time. It's just like, and it's all because at the same time they were both number one contenders going after the championships that
Mhm.
each team leader actually had. So it was pretty ironic. This actually led up to Jericho being like the first ever undisputed champion.
Yep, because at that time, The Rock was WCW champion. So we had the reintroduction of Big Gold over on the WWE side. Um, and he was the leader of the team. So obviously, once again, The Rock and Stone Cold, these two dudes leading each other's teams and leading up to WrestleMania at that point in time. Like it's just something like it didn't matter. Like there were so many different pay-per-views where The Rock and Stone Cold have been in the main event. But damn it, it always felt like and it meant something. And just
100.
like you said, this was literally life and death for these two companies. It was like one team was going to win and survive, and the other team was going to be done and over with. Let's be real. We all knew if Stone Cold were to lose, that dude ain't going nowhere. And obviously, he ended up coming back a few weeks later. He had to get his revenge. So even though he was reemployed by WWE, he wasn't taking the double cross by Kurt Angle, which was really funny, which ended up leading to a little feud between them. But yeah, Marcus, I'm on the same page with you. I know we're gonna have some similarities just because we kind of had the same history on some of these for it. Um, but overall, that was one of my favorite ones. One that I was able to see. I say live, but on TV. I didn't go to this, but this is like seeing it unfold in real time.
Yep.
Obviously, I wasn't fully invested for some of the older stuff and had to go back and really get acclimated to it at a younger age. Um, which obviously I was going to kind of feed into the next one. For me, Stone Cold versus Bret Hart. Uh, Survivor Series 96. This was where this is where they started their rivalry. Now, leading into that, Bret Hart had been out of the WWE for I think it was like 8 or 9 months. He wasn't there. This was where Stone Cold really started to become a thing and was up and coming and really getting into the swing of things with that character. As things were going on, obviously, there needed to be that next big person that could come in that could really test Stone Cold and where he was at the time, none other than having Bret Hart. Uh, Anytime Stone Cold, Bret Hart are involved in the match, it's going to be. I feel like it's going to be a great type of thing. Whether it is the two of them versus each other, other opponents, you're in for a world of a match. Obviously, Bret Hart on the technical side, Austin more of on that more roughneck style of fighting at the time for it. But this was just the beginning of a feud that would go on for a long time and be revisited multiple times. That I would say was probably one of the, I don't want to say better. That was for the Attitude Era. That was kind of the start. Like that was kind of in that middle of the start and getting things really going. Probably slightly before the Monday Night Wars really got into the swing of things for it. I think it's. I'm trying to. No, Amos. I think he was hurt. I think Bret was hurt. I don't think he had went someplace else for it. I don't remember. Um, but the two of them, of course, just hands down, absolutely amazing. So I'm good on that side. Uh, what's another one you got, Marcus?
I mean, if we're in '96, then you can't go wrong with Undertaker versus Mankind.
Give me a little bit.
Was that the one? I believe that was that the one with the Hell in the Cell. I
That
think.
may have been the first
Yeah, I
96.
think. Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, that was. I think that was like the very first Hell in the Cell.
No, I think the first on Hell in a Cell may have been Undertaker, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. So it
I
was what
think,
was it? Cage? No.
yeah, first Hell in a Cell was Undertaker, Shawn Michaels at Bad Blood. That was the first one.
Yeah.
Um, but
I,
definitely,
I definitely remember Undertaker and Mankind Survivor Series. Like I instinctively remember that. I don't know why I remember it. I just remember like that was like a key, one of the key matches during that time frame.
actually, no, that was King of the Ring. That first one for them, that was King of the Ring. I just had to pull that one up. That I don't want to. I don't mean to sidebar, but let's. I just have the first Hell in a Cell match was at King of the Ring. That kind of gives you an idea of the weight the King of the Ring used to really hold. Don't get me wrong. You established the King of the Ring in there, and they ran with it. But you had a match of that caliber on a King of the Ring event. That's kind of crazy. Clearly, there was things that happened in that match. I always love hearing Undertaker and Mankind talk about that match and the things that they were not supposed to do that they ended up doing in that match that led to some of the greatest history-defying moments. Period. Sorry, I don't want to go. I don't want to get too off topic because we'll be stuck on there for it. But now I got to go back and look and see if I can find. I'm gonna take a look right quick, but I think that one, yeah, was just. But obviously, they had a couple. Actually, no. This. Okay, I'm getting. That may have been the second one. I'm getting two different. Mm, Nope, that was King of the Ring. No, definitely King of the Ring. So I think they may have had another one. Oh, it was after that one, they faced each other at Survivor Series. So they did fight. It just wasn't Hell in a Cell. That was the one where Paul Bearer was hanging above the match.
Ah, okay, okay.
That's
It
what.
makes
That's which
sense.
one. Mhm. That's probably the one that you're talking about. So that was literally the fight. That's crazy to think that. they had another match the following month after that. Nick Foley was a crazy son of a bitch.
Yep.
Oh man. But nah, definitely Undertaker, Mankind, a lot of history within Survivor Series that they'll have on there for it. But talking about events like certain pay-per-views, another favorite of mine's Elimination Chamber. So a lot of people, maybe if you're younger, Elimination Chamber was not always its own pay-per-view. The first
Right.
Elimination Chamber match was at Survivor Series 2002. I'm gonna give you the opponents in this because these are some heavy hitters. So at the time, Triple H was the champion. In that match, it was Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, Booker T, Rob Van Dam, and Kane. And these, I would say at the time, they are all of them are in the peak of their careers. The peak of their careers. Obviously, Rob Van Dam making the transition from ECW, the whole like the invasion angle and all of that, coming over to the WWE side of things. Same thing with Booker T. They made that transition after obviously the acquisition of WCW. But that first Elimination Chamber, there was just something about when a new match type was created and the ambiance behind it. Like, obviously, we talked about Hell in a Cell. It was at the time you got the same vibe. Like, listen, they're trapped in a cage. You can't get out, obviously, unless you lose and you're leaving out of the match for it. You're trapped in these pods. I think maybe back then it was like 5 minutes. It may have been even a little bit longer than that. A new person would get added to the match, just added another layer of chaos into the swing of things. And, the promo packages that they used to put together back then were just incredible. So when they were just going through, it was like 10 tons of steel and all just running through it. It just sold it like, oh, these guys are about to go in here and like, these guys are about to die. They're about to die. And, they always use that, who's going to be able to be the one to walk out of the Elimination Chamber. Same thing like with Hell in a Cell. It was just, we're no strangers to seeing people getting thrown into a cage. But the difference was the ring inside was next to elevated steel flooring around. Obviously, you could get out the ring. You were literally on the steel floor that was there that was connected. So unlike a normal cage, you getting thrown out, you just land on the outside of the ring. You getting thrown out and you're landing on steel. You're landing on steel. You're getting thrown into steel. When you got thrown into the pods, they weren't plexiglass like they are now. When you got thrown in, them things shattered. It was
force. It took actual force. Like they don't do the strong Irish whips like currently, like for most talent. But back then, almost everyone had a strong Irish whip, and they would just, if it's not that, it's some sort of power bomb into it, or I forgot what it's called, where they like I'm on the ground and then they just like launch them like over themselves backwards.
The toss. I can't think of the proper name for the toss, but yeah, it took the extra amount of force to put somebody through one of those. And but they were a form of glass. And clearly they shattered, disintegrated like real glass would, but I'm sure smaller parts, and so things wouldn't.
Pretty sure it was
But
like Candy Glass. I'm pretty sure it was Candy Glass.
but it
With
took reinforce. It took a lot of force either way. But that was, the introduction and having, at the time, everyone at that time was in their prime, in there for it. Obviously, Sean and Trips having like the DX fallout. Now we're fighting each other at this point, and then you're throwing like obviously Chris Jericho. We talked about. You said the beginnings before becoming like the undisputed champion and all that. I believe that happened. That may have been that year as well too. Once they decided to combine the WCW in the WWE Championship into when we was walking around with both, like there was just something about the ambience of that. But that for me was one of my pinnacle things growing up, just seeing the introduction of this new match type. Because like there was just I feel like there was a lot more innovation that we were trying to go after, and we were trying to do these crazier gimmicks. Some of them went very well. Some of them failed. Like, you remember the Punjabi prison match?
I knew you was gonna bring up the Punjabi death match. It's everyone brings up that match. The idea, the concept was different. It's how they executed it that made it fall flat. That's just like same thing with like the tribal combat or whatever. It's just like the execution isn't there. Like the idea and concept could work. It's just not executed properly.
Yeah, tribal combat could have worked, and then we just kind of we started getting away from what the foundation of it was. I don't know. That one was a loss. The last one that I'll talk about, and honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if this one's probably on your list as well too, was Team Raw versus Team SmackDown versus Team NXT. Black and gold. So when NXT was really getting underway, and when Trips was running NXT, we had this incredible stacked roster that was down there. And one day, right as we were we thought that it was only going to be obviously another Raw versus SmackDown type of Survivor Series event. But when Trips had NXT invade that first night, I believe it was Raw that got invaded first. It was like, oh snap, this is about to be a thing. This was before NXT got to the point where it honestly, to me, felt more of a developmental brand. This was when it kind of was development, but it was like, hey, we can take them to the next level if we just go ahead and start having them compete with main roster elevated stars. Like at the time, like I think we had all the world champions. I gotta pull that one up. I think it may have been Adam Cole,
Yeah, it was Adam Cole in NXT. It was definitely Adam Cole. I
at the
remember
time.
that 100%. It was Adam Cole.
I'm trying to remember. I'm gonna have to pull it up. Adam Cole, Cena, and I can't think of who the third one was. T versus. Who was the last one? I'm gonna have to pull that one. That's gonna take a little bit. But dog, that was one of the best angles that I think we had seen during that run. I think was probably one of the best things that they could have done. And that looks like, was that 2018? Is that the right one? Because I know we did it a couple of times. Let's see. Survivor Series 2018. No, it wasn't this one because this one had. Oh no, that's definitely not it. Yeah, I gotta go back and do that little pull up because that was one of the stack. Like some of those faces that we had seen at the time versus each other was kind of like, yo, this is something that probably would have never thought. Some of
Oh,
these
I
you
think
probably
it's
see him
Roman
in.
Reigns.
Was it Roman? I don't think it was Roman. I really don't think it was Roman.
Because it was the whole Roman Keith Lee spot.
Oh, so that was a match. I don't think Roman at the time. I don't think we had gotten to championship status, like main championship status at that point in time. Yeah, why is this not coming? Oh, that's War Game. Yeah, now we're going all over the place. But I do remember that, and that was that whole build up because that ended up playing out over a couple of weeks. NXT invaded Raw, invaded SmackDown. Then
That's
they did it in.
the main event. The main event was the women's limit Survivor Series match. That was the main event that year. It's all coming
That
back
was
to me.
probably one of the first times that we've seen the women actually main event an actual event at that time. And I think that was when they starting to see that like, hey, yo, these women can actually go with the guys the same way. Yeah, that's old. I'm not even gonna keep doing because this is gonna take a while. But yeah, that's just another one. I would tell you guys, go back and look because when Trips came out and gave that speech when NXT invaded Raw, it was sending some shivers just hearing like they were there and they were like I remember like you said Keith Lee, Shayna Baszler, Adam Cole,
Oh,
the whole undisputed era at that point.
that's 2021.
Uh,
There's been a couple of Raw
they
versus
did a
SmackDown
couple.
NXT.
They did a couple of them because it was a bunch of Raw versus SmackDowns, and then they introduced NXT, and then I think maybe for like 2 or 3 years we got the 3 branded version of it before they started making NXT just its own thing and kind of leaving it in the playing field for it. But that's where I'm at. Those are a couple of mines that honestly right now I feel like hold more weight than we are currently seeing on the current Survivor Series card. Because right now, this current Survivor Series card is like it's just a mix and match. Like, let's just put these faces together. Let's just put these heels together. There's no real implications on if you win, if we win. Like, there's none of that. Obviously, we'll have some championship matches in between. Obviously, I think the biggest one, it wouldn't hey, listen, this is gonna sound crazy. It wouldn't surprise me if John Cena versus Dom ended up being the main event of Survivor Series and not one of the actual 5-on-5 matches for it. To me, that would be stupid, but it absolutely would not surprise me if one of those ends up being. And then at the end of that, Cena still wins, retains. Don't put it past to see Brock Lesnar end up coming out and possibly setting things up. Like, we know there's a tournament. Whoever wins the tournament is going to be the one to face Cena. Brock Lesnar doesn't give a damn, and he'll come in and just, I'm entering myself into that match. Who doesn't matter whoever it is, it's going to be a 3-way. It wouldn't surprise me if something fluke like that happened. But there is a chance that Cena may not make it to Saturday night's main event with the championship. I can see Dom picking it back up just to say, hey,
Doms, F5s, Dirty Dom, Splash. Okay. John Cena no longer has the title.
could be. But as of right now, I think that match is probably the only one that truly has like major implications on who could win or lose that match. Cena leaves as a champion or potentially is going to walk out and I don't want to say retire, but leave as Intercontinental Champion setting in a main event if he keeps it. But I'm just a lot of big names on the card, but it just to me it just doesn't hold weight the same way for it. I'm happy to see, we got Lesnar, we got Roman Reigns. Let's be real. After this match, we probably won't see the two of them again until sometime in the new year. So
Royal Rumble season.
It is what it is. But I think I'm good to go on that side. Anything else you want to chime in for Survivor Series or anything, or you think you're good?
I just have one left, and then it's the triple threat between John Cena, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. Because this is when they reformed DX, and they had the whole.
And was that when the match started and Shawn super kicks
Triple H? Yes.
Out the ring.
Because previously John and Shawn were tag team champions, and they didn't want to be They didn't want to be tag team champions. Because Shawn was all like, "I want I want that championship." So it was like that entire inner feud.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, no, that's definitely that hit some type of way when they first started. And Shawn just super kicked Trips out the ring and just made it kind of like that one-on-one match because we were all like at that point we were like, yo, how is this going to be a one-sided thing? Like, there's no way Trips and Shawn would be like, hey, one of us is going to be the champ. Like, it's just not gonna play out.
Yeah, and then after that, the very next night on Raw, I was just like, yo, you super kicked me at the very beginning of the match. He was like, well, I thought you was going to pedigree me first, so I had to beat you too. He's like, actually, right? I was going to do it.
I'm not mad. And that was 2009. Jeez. We are so far out from some of these major, like, I'm about to go back and watch that because that's
also, and for the record, every single women's match and or elimination matters to us. Before y'all be like, y'all didn't mention any of the women's matches, blah 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 blah. They matter. It's just these are the ones that stick out to us the most. So
yeah.
Don't come after our next because we didn't say, oh, this women's elimination chamber with Becky Lynch and everything. Like, come on.
Don't get me wrong. There's some great matches within it, but some of the ones that happened, obviously in the past, where they just held it different. They didn't have the women's matches were a completely different realm of a type of thing than what they are now. Obviously, within the last between I would say 5 to 10 years, the women's stuff has become way better. But back then, it really didn't. It just didn't hold the same way. We weren't focusing on really the aspects the same way that we focused on with the guys. But these were just like,
the market was different back then.
Very much so. These were just some of those pivotal moments within Survivor Series, and there's still tons to go around. But good mention on that one. All right, so I think that about wraps things up. So you guys heard some of our favorite / best moments from Survivor Series history. Let us know some of yours. Because there's still decades and decades worth of Survivor Series.
Forever, but for the length of the video, we're trying to make it easy on you guys.
Hey, let us know some of those in the comments below. I'm gonna throw this out there before we close things, but here's a crazy question. We talked about getting rid of some of the old Vince pay-per-views. Is it time to retire Survivor Series? I think we may be at that play. Let us know. Is it time to move on and figure out another pay-per-view to take its place? Honestly, premium live event. Excuse me. Let me not do that. Is it time to move away from these and start building some new ones and creating some new cadences? Because it's just not hitting the same way. Let us know in the comments below. We greatly appreciate you guys tuning in, whether you're watching, whether you're listening. We always appreciate it because you could obviously be spending your hard-deserved time in many different forms, but you choose to sit here, listen, and watch us talk about wrestling. We will greatly appreciate that. For the homie Marcus, this has been your boy Jokes. This has been episode 30 of the Finished Podcast. Marcus, tell the folks what they need to know.
Sure. Just because your back is against the ropes doesn't mean you can't move forward. And with that, we're out. Twos and lose.
Loading snacks. Ow, ow.